Today is March 13th, 2025. This is the State Committee for School District Audits regularly scheduled meeting. This meeting is subject to the Kentucky Open Meetings Act. The agenda and meeting were made public by the APA yesterday, March 12th, 2025, via a media advisor. All members of the public agency attending via video teleconference must remain on camera at all times. So all committee members, please turn on your cameras. It is the direction of the chair that the minutes of this meeting shall be taken and made available. And I will go ahead and call roll. I'm the Auditor of Public Accounts designee, Shauna Kraus, Officer of Education Accountability designee, Sabrina Cummins, which I believe, didn't we determine it's now Smith? Is that right?
Yes.
So I need to change that in my notes. Sabrina Smith cannot be with us today. Office of the AG designee, Stacy Woodrum. I don't think the audio came through, but I see that you're there. Commissioner of Education designee, Marshall Smith.
Here.
Office of the Governor designee, John Hicks. All right, seeing that we have 3 out of 5, the chair determines that a quorum is present. Any guests from the APA? We have Alex Evans, who is manning the APA downstairs in case we have anyone from the public that wants to join us. And then we also have Joy Markland, who is doing the teleconferencing over to, I believe, YouTube now. So the public can also watch this. So Marshall, do you want to introduce your guests from KDE?
Yes, we have Kim Carter, Kelly Young, and Jana Cox.
Welcome all. All right. We will get into the approval of minutes. So we have 2 sets of minutes to approve, October 17th, 2024 and November 14th, 2024. Those minutes were circulated to all of the members for review prior to today's meeting. Does anyone have any suggested edits or additions to the meetings that were circulated?
I do not.
Not seeing any. Is there a motion to approve the, we'll do it one at a time. Is there a motion to approve October 17, 2024? Stacy, I see your lips moving. Motion to approve. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Marshall. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Is there a motion for the November 14th, 2024 minutes?
I'll motion.
Motion, thank you. And second? Second. Is there, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Not seeing any opposed. Both sets of minutes are approved. And not seeing any old business on our agenda for today, we'll go ahead and skip down to new business. This one is always a little bit of a thicker agenda on today, so we'll just go ahead and jump right into it. So first thing is our FY 2024 audit consideration report dated March 2025. So Marshall, I'll go ahead and turn it over to you. And do you mind sharing your screen as we're walking through that?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. If y'all would let me know that you can see it.
All good.
All right. This the same spreadsheet we have every time. We have numerous tabs on here. And what I do is I highlight the ones with changes in yellow. So the first tab, we got fiscal year 24 audit extension requests. And here we are approving extension requests that KDE conditionally approved on behalf of the committee. There are those, the actual forms were sent out by Alex to everyone in the committee. We received the extension requests, 16 of them for 16 districts. And we actually had 21 requests for those 16 districts. Some of the districts had to request a second or third extension. That's why we have more requests than districts. We have 3 that stretch out into February. I'll talk about those real quick. The first one I'll talk about is McGoffin County. That was a new firm. They had a partner and a staff member that were specifically working on McGoffin County, and both those individuals resigned. Is kind of spur at the moment during the engagement. So I left the remaining members of that firm left to figure out what had been done and pick up the pieces and move forward. So they requested some additional extensions, and they actually got that to us in February. So I'll make you guys aware of that. Then the two others that got pushed into February was Butler County and Fulton County. Those are both done by Carr, Riggs, and Ingram. That was a little bit of a special situation. Last year, those audits were done by a firm named ATA, which you may remember that last year we banned that firm from doing audits this year. Those districts had to get an audit done, so Carr, Riggs, and Ingram picked them up, even though it made them a little thin on being able to get done. So that's why it stretched out into February, and we approved it. Those are the only three that really stretched out, that far. The rest of the extension requests, we got the 21 requests for 16 districts. It was all over same general stuff that we see. Lack of staff at the firms, newer finance officers or not having a finance officer, some kind of sudden family emergencies with both staff at the audit firms and with the finance officers. That's a summary of the reasonings in those extension requests. We obviously reviewed them here at KD and we approved them. So we would recommend the committee to approve them.
Thank you, Marshall. Does anyone have any comments on the audit extension request as Marshall has presented it, or from their review of the documents? If there are no comments, questions, or concerns, is there a motion to approve the audit extension request presented on March 13th, 2025?
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Stacy. Second. I'll second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Not seeing any opposed. The audit extension requests are approved. We will jump down to the next thing, which is, or I guess, Marshall, do you have anything else on the audit consideration report you want to walk through before we jump into the audit requirement documents?
Yes, I had a second tab I'll show real quick. This is a report of audits that we got after the deadline with no extensions. You'll see most of them are just a few days after the deadline. We don't really make a point of those. We had we had 3 that came in December. That was mainly due to we had a short problem and they said, oh, we can get it fixed. And then they end up getting it to us in December, the first couple weeks in December. So they didn't have extension requests, but they were fairly close to the deadline. And nothing really actionable, we thought.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Jefferson's a big district too. So to come in just barely past the deadline is really good. Yeah, I don't see anything cause concern there. Okay, we will move on to the draft SCISDA audit requirements for fiscal year 24 through 25.
And did you want me to go through that or?
Yeah, sorry. Can you share your
Okay.
screen?
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll just pull it up. Just in case there's anything, and we can just like quickly scroll through. A lot of the changes were like the dates and things like that.
Yes.
So I didn't see anything necessarily concerning, but I didn't know if there was anything you wanted to point out on this.
Yes, I will. There's two different documents. We have this larger document that details all the concerns. Like you just mentioned, the main things we changed were dates, changing the years that's associated with those dates. There's a new GASB statement, so we have updated that in the auditor alert section. I'm sorry to make everybody dizzy. But the most lengthy section of it is this state compliance requirements, where it's going through state KRSs and KARs. We did have some changes in these, but it's really just the update changes and to make sure they more accurately reflect those statutes. So there are some changes in it, but it should just be to make sure it aligns with the current language. And obviously, House Bill 6 replaced the budget bill House Bill 1, so that was a pretty good chunk of the changes.
Yeah, I don't remember flagging anything. I'm just quickly looking.
Sure.
Are there, does anyone else have, I guess Stacy's the only other anyone else. Does anyone else have any comments or concerns for consideration? No, I see you shaking your head. Yeah, everything seems to align. It was pretty much just dates and then making sure that House Bill 6 was accurately reflected, which I agree with how you guys have written it. So that looks great.
And then on the second document, I do have a change that I need to bring to everybody's attention.
Okay.
And we discussed it. It's not wanting me to pull over. Give me just a second. Here we go. The other document lists out all the requirements, and this is a section that they actually sign and return to us. We struck out the section here in compensation, item C. We talked about that in some previous meetings. That is a section that said if the actual bill for the audit exceeded the estimate by a certain amount, they had to get approval by the committee before they could pay it. The district had to get approval from the committee before they could pay it. I struck that out. One, the districts are paying the audit costs with their own funds. So it didn't seem like we should jump into that if they're paying with their own funds. Secondly, it caused a hardship because the districts would get the bill for the audit December, January, and then we wouldn't meet till March. Yeah. And so by statute, they had to pay the bill in 30 days. So we would require them to not comply with the statute to wait for our approval. So I struck it out for those two reasons.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's fair.
And then also we get the information the following year. So if we had a situation where a firm is bidding low and then giving them a high actual, we'll see it then. So we'll still see the information, be able to act on it. It's just we're freeing them up, not forcing them to violate that statute.
Okay, that's a really good note that we are still able to see that, and we can maybe catch it in the future. And then everything else looked like it was the years that sort of changed. So
correct.
Seems good. Okay. Let's let's take a vote on the audit requirements for 2024 through 2025, the long document. It didn't seem like anyone else had any additions to that. And so seeing no changes outside of what KDE has already made, is there a motion to approve the audit requirements?
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Stacy. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
And all in favor, aye.
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 Not seeing any opposed. That's approved. And then we'll go ahead and do the same with our independent auditor contract here that Marshall has on the screen. I agree with the changes that Marshall's made. I think that is, we have discussed it in the past in this committee, and I think it makes the most sense. So is there a motion to approve the fiscal year 2025 independent auditor contract?
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Stacy. Second.
I'll second.
Thank you, Marshall. All in favor, aye.
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 Not seeing any opposed. That as well is approved. I believe that wraps up new business for us, and we just had one comment under miscellaneous. And Marshall, do you want to give some background to the rest of the committee on ATA?
Yes. Yeah. ATA, formerly Alexander Thompson, Alexander maybe. They had done some school district audits for years. They typically did 3 or 4 a year. Last year, they had one audit they needed an extension for, and then a second audit they were doing really went beyond the deadlines. We didn't actually get the finalized audit report, I think, till June, early June. And that created some issues. They weren't very, they didn't communicate very well when they were late getting that in. So we made the decision last year to ban them for doing audits this year, which they were fine with. They were kind of wanting I think they were wanting to get away from doing Kentucky school district audits anyway. So that district, Fulton County, found a new firm to do the audit this year. And they came to me, I guess probably a month ago, maybe. And they said they had pulled up the audit that ATA had done last year off the federal clearinghouse. That is a depository for the federal government for all audits of federal grants to go up to. They pulled that audit off that system, and that audit was different than the one the school district had been given. The audit on the federal clearinghouse included an audit finding that wasn't on the version the school district had. On top of that, there was a corrective action from Fulton County on that version of the audit that their finance officer said she'd never seen before. We did some more digging around. We talked to ATA about that. They were kind of uncommittal about that. They said they really didn't remember. We're obviously concerned about that because it looks like they included that finding in it, didn't tell the district about it, and then created a response from the district and didn't even let the district know that was in there. So obviously we're very concerned about that. I talked to Shauna about it, and we talked about extending that ban to not just doing audits this year, but maybe banning the audit firm from doing any Kentucky school district audits in the future. And that's what we were wanting to bring to you guys to approve.
Yes. Thank you, Marshall. I'll share my screen just so I can jog your all's memory on what we did last year. Can you all see the PDF letter?
Yes.
Okay. So this is the letter that we sent to ATA on July 3rd of 2024 following the really late submission of Fulton County. And so I've just highlighted the language that we'll have to tweak these are the details here in these two really this paragraph about Fulton being submitted late. But the big thing to change is we just said for the upcoming fiscal year. And so changing that language to just include all fiscal years going forward and to not be able to do Kentucky school district audits at all. Which Marshall, I believe you kind of mentioned that to them and they didn't really seem to have any heartburn over it.
Correct.
But I still think it's a step that we need to take just to protect the committee and the school districts going forward, just to make sure we cover all our bases. And so that would be my proposal, is that we draft another letter that we can vote on next week. And I'll share that letter around similarly to how I did this July letter last year, shared it with you guys, and we were able to make some edits and then voted on it in a meeting. So, but we wanted to give the committee some background on that before moving forward with drafting the letter. But does anyone have any comments or any questions about this relationship?
Can I ask just one question to clarify? Did I hear correctly that it appears that they may have created an audit response from the school district?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah. All right. So I'll work on drafting that letter and updating this second paragraph, basically with what Marshall just said, with some of our updated communications between the committee and the firm. Likely remove this paragraph about the fee because that's not what this is about. And then in this very last paragraph, just making it very clear that they are banned from doing all future school district audits in Kentucky. And I'll share that with the rest of the committee members so you guys can track some changes on it. And then hopefully we'll be able to move that to a vote next week. I think that was the only thing under miscellaneous, unless anyone has anything else they'd like to add. Alrighty. Alex, yeah.
So with the dates, I forgot to add that for next week, I will actually have the proposed dates for the following FY. So that will be shown on like the proposed, and everyone will come to a formal vote. I just didn't have that under miscellaneous. So
yeah, thanks. So our next meeting will be held virtually via Teams and live streamed to the public using YouTube starting at 9 a.m. on March 20th, 2025. So next week. And then our next in-person meeting will be on June 12th, 2025 here at the APA. And then if no one has anything else, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Stacy. Second.
I'll second.
Thanks, Marshall. All in favor, say bye.
Bye.
All righty. Y'all have a good day.
Thank you too.